Let me take a sip of your water.
He fell asleep in New Jersey before the bombs hit the ground. Broadcasting from a bomb shelter, he is the nuclear clown.
I hope you brought a sleeping bag, because today we're going to be talking about WildStar for an incredibly long time. WildStar is the latest massively multiplayer online game where you gentle viewer, get to take on the role of a crazy looking guy and run out and kill X amount of these things and bring it back for X amount of experience. There's a lot I'm going to get into here. And with massively multiplayer online games in general, this is just kind of like my warning, I guess. Or maybe I should do this at the beginning of all my videos. I have certain things I really don't like in MMO games, and I have things I really like, and they may seem very little and very contrite to you. Is that the right usage of that word? I'm not sure. It sounds like it. It sounds pretty good, right? I looked confident when I said that. We'll go with it. We will assume that is a word. So you're going to hear a lot of that stuff. You're going to hear a lot of stuff that I'm going to say that's going to say, oh, you're going to say, Dave, you're nitpicking, you're little naggy bitch. But it's true. I think that in an MMO where you invest a ton of your time, you should nitpick. I mean, everybody's got their own little things that they like, and everybody's got their own little things that bother them about games like this. And if you're going to invest a boatload of time into something, it should cover most of the bases of what you're into. So, warning, nitpicky shit on the way. WildStar. I guess I should first start with my experiences with the launch, because it's been out for a few months now, and I hate doing reviews on stuff I haven't really gotten into yet. So I'll do a first impressions video or whatnot. I didn't want to do that with WildStar because there's a lot, because it brings a lot of kind of new stuff to the table. So I've been playing it for the past few months, and I am here with my thoughts. The launch of WildStar, I thought, went as a launch would go. I got into early access by a couple of days, and there was, I got booted a bunch of times. I couldn't log into the game, this, that, and the other thing. I'm not particularly offended when this happens because it's an MMO launch, and by now, you know what to expect. So things got better, things improved. I think that they did a phenomenal thing by not blowing out new servers right away. I think during the launch, when you have so many people coming into a game, a lot of games kind of get spooked and say, okay, we got to add new servers. This is way more players than we thought we were going to get. So they make a crap load of new servers, and then once the game kind of peters out and evens the population out, mostly after the first month of free game time that comes when you get the game, you find a bunch of ghost town servers, like the Old Republic, who started out with 5,000 servers and then was down to like 4 in a couple months. Okay, not 4, but you know what I'm saying. So WildStar, they did add some servers at launch, a few, every now and again, but they anticipated players dropping off because that's just what happens. It is the nature of this beast, and I thought that was a really good idea because that's exactly what happened. People were dying to get in because it's the new hot sexy game or whatever, and then after the first month the population evens out and you get your real numbers as far as people playing the game. And so I thought that was really wise on their part to do that. They added some servers, but not a crazy amount. They didn't go overboard. And yeah, I had to wait every now and again to get in the game. Not a huge deal. I can go make a sandwich or several. It's not an entire, it's not a huge thing for me. So I thought it went pretty smooth. There are still, at this point in time, there's just some weird problems that I wouldn't expect with a game title like this. I mean, NC Soft, right? They make this game. They made Guild Wars 2 and some other games. They've been at this for a while. So a lot of these problems seem kind of like, I don't know, like rookie kind of mistakes to me. And on a title where you're hoping people will plop down money for a subscription, little asterisk by there. It seemed kind of odd when I just get booted for no reason again and again and again during the game. And you'll say, well, Dave, your computer sucks. And that may be the case, but, when I log back in, 99 other people, and the bitch ain't one, say, hey, everybody get booted? Yeah, we all got booted. So I'm assuming either we all have shitty computers or the game's screwy in some fashion. And it's a few months after release. I mean, come on, I expect this stuff to clear up relatively easy. And when it's still kind of, doing funky shit like that, it bothers me. It's those little things that, especially when you're asking for people's money, asterisk, that bothers me with a game. But anyway, I may be getting ahead of myself. I want to talk about the big points with WildStar. Some things people like, some things people don't like. Numero uno that you will notice immediately is the art style. You are either going to love this or you're going to hate it, because I don't really find a middle ground, too often when people talk about this game. WildStar is super, super, super over the top cartoony. And like people compare it to Warcraft. I don't think so much. Warcraft is more like Disney stuff. It just screams like Disney animation sort of to me, and that's not a bad thing as far as I'm concerned. Look, you have games like Guild Wars 2. You have games like The Elder Scrolls Online that's out, that came out around the same time as WildStar, that are the very realistic. I mean, Elder Scrolls more so, but just super realistic, super gritty, dark colors, and everything looks dull and gray. For me, that has no appeal for me whatsoever. Realistic games like that with no kind of flair or style, it's boring. It's boring. When I see screenshots of The Elder Scrolls Online, I don't want to play that. It looks boring. It doesn't look fun. It doesn't, again, it's all an opinion thing. Some people prefer that. Other people really, really hate WildStar's bright, super colorful art style. Personally, I love it. I can't get enough of it. I think there are too many games that are just doom and gloom and ultra realistic and grays and dark browns, and all right, man. If I'm sitting in front of a computer for 12 hours out of my day, because obviously I have a lot of stuff to do, I want to look at something that's visually striking, I guess, something that's interesting to look at. So I think the art style in WildStar, perfect. Don't touch it. I love it. I completely love it. But at the same time, I have some problems with it. It seems to me that in WildStar, your character is super animated. Super animated a bit too much. And what I mean by that is when you run, for example, which is what you'll be seeing your character do, I don't know, all the time. There's kind of this like, it almost looks like there are too many frames per second, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that is like there's this kind of, like you don't, like your bones are made out of jello. And when you run, you're kind of like an ultra animated type thing, and it just looks weird where your torso and your waist just kind of, it's like there's too much shit going on in the typical running animation, and it gives this floppy kind of like, like you're just bopping around mindlessly. And again, it's not a huge, well, maybe it is a huge thing because you're going to be watching your character move a lot. I don't know. But to me, it stands out right away. Like, as soon as I started playing this game, it looks weird when you move in WildStar. The run animation and stuff like that. At least I think so. So I want to talk now about the very basics as far as the races you can play and the factions you can play. Seriously, this video is going to be like 3 hours long. I have a problem with generic shit. It bothers me. If you're making a world, if you're making a game, and it's supposed to be something different, it's supposed to be something new and something fresh, anything at all you can change to make it yours, I think that you should do, hands down, without question. There are two factions in WildStar: the Exiles and the Dominion. Exiles, okay, fine. It's the ragtag group of rebels. We've seen this 5 billion times before. You get the idea. And there's the Dominion, the snooty imperialistic sorts. Look, I hate the name The Dominion because it's so common. It is a sci-fi original movie. You know, like, I picture 3 writers sitting in a college dorm somewhere writing their sci-fi original movie, and they're like, we need a bad organization. What can we possibly call it? Empire's taken. Jimmy, what do you got? The Dominion. Awesome. Book it. We're finished here. Same with the planet name. Nexus. Come on, man. It's your own unique world. Give it a unique name. Nexus, again, is a sci-fi original movie. I need a planet name. I don't care what it is. Johnny, what do you got? Nexus. Do it. We're done here. The game is so unique on so many levels, and so it has its own style and its own flavor, right? Go all out. And I want to hear a planet name I've never heard in every other sci-fi game. I want a faction name I've never heard in every other sci-fi game. And it frustrates the shit out of me. And to be fair, this probably doesn't bother a lot of people because I hear no one complaining about this ever. But it bugs me. It really bothers me. Another thing, WildStar uses gold, or platinum, gold, silver, and copper. Because we've never seen that in every other game. It, again, make your own currency. Name it something funky. You have everything about this game should have been different. And when I hear gold and silver and copper, I think of Warcraft, EverQuest. I know it's stupid. I know it is. I know that it's currency. Who cares, right? What's the big deal? But it matters to me. I think that they had so many chances to further distance themselves and make a completely unique game. And when they don't do shit like that, it just comes off as creatively lazy to me. Again, this is a Dave thing. We have to have a talk. Sit down. Just sit down. It's just 2 guys hanging out. I am 34 years old. I don't know what you kids are into or what you do or what you like. But I don't get the furry animal people, girl with a fox tail and bunny ear. I just don't get it. I'm sorry. Look, I'm pretty gross, you know? I'm a pretty perverted guy. I got my stuff. But I hate the Orin with a passion. I hate them to a point where this is biblical level hatred that I have for this race. You know, the cute, oh look, they're cute, and they got fox ears and little swishy furry tails. Hate it. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I've always hated it. And it's no different in WildStar. I think they're annoying. I think they're obnoxious. I think they're stupid. I think they suck. And every time I see one, I get physically angry. To me, there's nothing sexual about fucking a raccoon with tits. I just don't get it. But again, I seem to be in the minority because everybody's crazy for Orin. Everyone's like, Orin! Oh my god, I can't believe it. I can live out my masturbatory fantasies on an MMO for the low price of $15 a month with a little asterisk by it, and we'll get to that later. I don't like it. I hate it. Also, Chua. You know, because when I first saw the races, I thought, okay, let me look at the Exiles. Okay, they have foxtail people. Next, let me look at the Dominion. What do they got? Oh, they've got little Lilo and Stitch motherfuckers. It's like both sides took one thing I hate in games like this. Your furry, funny, happy bunny ear foxtail people, and your little Lilo and Stitch big floppy ears gremlins, you know, looking thing. What, Gizmo, right, from Gremlins? Gizmo. The only thing I remember from Gremlins is Phoebe Cates, because Why not? Right? Especially in the second one. I thought her hair was good. A little too long. Maybe a little. We could shape that. But it's good. It's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. So both sides offer a race that I personally have a jihad against. I'm just not gonna lie anymore. I'm tired of sugarcoating it for you people. Fox people and animal, and changeling, puka and stuff. No, you must be crucified and exterminated. Same thing with little Lilo and Stitch, big floppy ear guy. No. I'm sorry. No. So both sides of this game have shit I cannot deal with, and it angers me. It does. It angers me, and it takes points away from WildStar, in my opinion. I know it's weird. It's sad, but it bothers me. It really bothers me. So okay, now that's out of the way. Just the generic stuff in general with WildStar. I don't see the point. You mean to tell me you couldn't take 5 minutes out of your day to come up with a new currency name? You don't have to use credits or gold and if it's WildStar, so they're doing like the whole kind of Wild West type of thing, like a sci-fi Wild West kind of. People have compared it to Firefly, and on the Exile side, sure, there's some stuff like that. But you could, if you wanted to use gold, you could have done like gold nuggets or something like that, or something kind of fitting in with the wild frontier of Nexus sort of theme. I just can't stand these creative shortcuts, right? Like this vapid nonsense of like, oh yeah, race animal people, yeah, well, floppy ears people like to jerk off to that. Throw in a couple fox girls or whatever, we'll be golden. Hate it. I hate it. Moving on. The graphics in this game are gorgeous. WildStar looks tremendous. From the art style to the colors to the graphics, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful, beautiful game. And that is, to me, a resounding success for the people who designed this game. When you see WildStar, it has its own style to it. And it's immediately kind of recognizable. And I think that you kind of have to do that. Yes, you will turn off more serious gamers, but I think it's worth it to have a kind of identity. You know what you're getting into as soon as you see someone play WildStar for 2 seconds, right? The game is really funny. It doesn't take itself too seriously, which gets major points for me, and I love that. I like a game that can make you laugh every now and again. I think that's really quite cool, and WildStar does that. WildStar does that a lot. The combat, let's be honest. WildStar's big thing is telegraphs on the screen, so if you swing your sword, you don't tab target something and then do your rotation, so you're not sitting there like a mindless zombie going tab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're not just sitting there going through your rotation, because enemies will do AoE attacks. They'll put a big template on the ground. You're dodging, you're running, you're doing a lot of situational maneuvers depending on whatever it is you're fighting. That's all well and good, but this has been done before. I mean, it's not the wheel, it's not fire. And the way a lot of people talk about it, I mean, this has been done in that game. Terra did this a couple years ago. Neverwinter has a combat system that is very similar to WildStar in the way that you can just you have to position yourself for attacks, and you have your little areas that you hit. I mean, sure, I guess putting the telegraphs themselves on the screen to this extent, and the kind of creative telegraphs they come up with for enemies and whatnot, and raid bosses, I guess that's kind of taking it to another level. But this has been done before. I mean, I don't see... When I first started playing this game, it's nothing I haven't seen before, as far as the combat goes. I mean, and it's fine, but there's something sluggish about WildStar in the way you move, in the way you fight. I mean, you would think in this game where you're running around, and I got something in my teeth. 1 second. You probably saw me make like some uncomfortable faces when I was like, I got some in my teeth. I should have prepared for this, but I'm not very good. I could have added that part out, but you know, I won't because I want you to see the truth, the fucking truth. Right. There's a sluggishness to WildStar, and in a game where you're running around, you're dodging this, you're dodging that, there shouldn't be. It should be a lightning quick kind of thing, and I'm just not really seeing that. I mean, I thought Neverwinter took this concept and handled it better. I think with Neverwinter, it seemed more fluid, I guess. And, you know, Guild Wars 2, to an extent, had a lot of this with the dodging and stuff like that. This is nothing new. It really isn't. It's not this big revolutionary step in combat that I think people are making it out to be. And that kind of always puzzled me because we've seen this before, you know? And just because, no, but now you can see it on your screen and it's a big red circle. Like, okay, really? That's all it takes to excite you guys, I guess? I don't know. It just seemed slow to me and sluggish from the way you run, from the way, you know, combat kind of goes. I wish they would tune up the speed a bit, you know, not a whole lot, but you feel sluggish in this game. And I thought at first it was because I was playing a Granic, you know, they're like big giant rock people. But I've tried other characters too, and I just feel the same way. There is something about WildStar that seems very sluggish to me. I don't know. That's just my opinion. From other games I've played that have taken this kind of combat, and it didn't feel sluggish there, like in Neverwinter, for example. Ever since this game came out, it's been very openly a shit just got real type of attitude towards endgame. And what I mean by that is dungeons will eat your ass alive. Raids will eat your grandchildren's ass alive. And generally speaking, if you're not in a finely tuned guild, don't do raids or anything like that. And I don't really have a problem with this. I am not that type of a game person where I enjoy the ultra hardcore aspects, and you know, I've never really followed that kind of mindset in anything. But at the same time, I do believe that there should be parts in a game that you can't experience unless you've got your shit together, unless you've got a good group, unless you've got good gear. I don't mind that so much. And again, that doesn't benefit me because I am, I think, the quintessential casual player. I mean, I'm pretty much an MMO a mercenary, for crying out loud. Like, I'll play a game for a couple of months. I'll get a character or two to max level. I'll see what it has to offer. And then I'll go and I'll try another one. And I'll kind of hop back and forth between 3 or 4 MMOs. I'm not the type of person to sit there and play one MMO religiously for like 4 or 5 years. That's just not how I operate, really. So I kind of go back and forth between stuff as I get in moods for things, right? So I believe you have to market a game to the casual audience because that's going to be the majority of your money. I mean, why is Warcraft so successful? One of the reasons is it appeals to casual players. You don't have to devote your life and divorce your spouse to see progress in that game. You can play casually and get your guy to max level. And I know some of you out there just, you know, went to the bathroom in your pants, but hey, that's how you make money. And if a game is ultra hardcore and every time you die you lose 3 levels, guess what? Nobody's going to play that game and the game's going to go out of business because people equal money. So you have to keep it casual enough to keep the money going to fund your efforts, and at the same time make it challenging. And sure, there should be some things in a game that you just cannot see. There should be some places where you cannot go without a really good group. I don't have a problem with that. And really, I'm not crying because I'm never going to see a dungeon in WildStar. I'm not crying because I'm never going to see a raid in WildStar. I know the type of player I am, and there's enough casual stuff, casual elements in WildStar to keep me busy doing that, so that I don't feel like I'm at a glass ceiling or anything. You know, it's I think that they did a good mix of enough for the casual player and enough for your hardcore player, where both types of players can coexist in this game and do their own thing. So I thought they actually handled that well, even though they told you flat out these raids are gonna walk on your face. So I don't have a problem with that, really. I don't have a problem with that at all. Another little nitpick of mine, and this video is gonna follow no real specific order because I have mental problems. But I'm not for faction games where you chop up your population into 2 or more factions. I would much rather have a wider player base, just all on one side, because why not? You could still do PvP, you could still do team versus team and stuff like that, but the whole, no, we must split the game up into factions. I think MMOs by now feel obligated that they have to do that because Warcraft did it, and I think that's one thing you could really shy away from in the future. But if you're going to do factions, they should feel different, right? Here's something that drives me nuts. In WildStar, when you level, there's like this voiceover guy. And he's like, yeah, you leveled, brah. You're a real bad mother trucker now. You're a bad mother trucker now. You're a bad dude, just like the video game now. Welcome to level 3, bro. Yeah. You get the idea, right? That's fine. You have the exile side, who are like, it's a very kind of Wild West experience when you start in the early game with them. And then you have the Dominion, who are the snooty, imperialistic, sorts, with the same voiceover guy. So if you're playing an ultra elitist snooty Cassian, when you hit level 2, you hear, yeah, dude, play some Zeppelin, man, you hit level 3. Wah! How much better would it have been if they would have taken 2 minutes to have, on the Dominion side when you level, aha, good show, chap. You've increased your power to further subjugate those around you. It would have taken 2 minutes to do a different voiceover in a snooty voice. So you have the exiles, the scrappy rebels, and their level guy is like, hey, bro, yeah, level, yeah, oh, it's a cranberry, dude. And then on the, did I just spit like a viper or something, like those cobras spit, right? Something does. It would have taken 2 seconds to record it like in a snooty English accent, or have some posh, British girl just do another set of voiceovers for the Dominion side. Why not? Anything to make the different sides different. And to me, that screams fucking lazy. Like, how did no one in the room say, hey guys, wait, leave this mic on for 2 minutes and let somebody do a Dominion voiceover, right? I want a different layout, a different what is it? The user interface for both sides. Why not, right? Perfect example. Star Trek Online, right? Everybody laughs at Star Trek Online, but they did a lot of things right. If you're playing a Federation character, when you level, it's the computer girl voice saying, hey, good job, beep beep. And it's Siri on the Federation side. And on the Klingon side, it's like some big, gnarly sounding guy like, yes, you have gained glory for the Empire or whatever every time you level. And the interfaces, the Federation one is blue, the Klingon one is red. It's not hard. It takes a minimal effort to give each side a unique thing to where you load up the game. If you're playing an Exile character, it looks different on your screen. If you're playing a Dominion character, it looks different on your screen. It sounds different when you level. I don't get it. These are so tiny. It's not like, just these little things that could have added so much. And in this game that has so much flavor to it, I don't see why. I don't know how you could fuck that up, right? And that just bothers me. That bothers me a lot. Another thing about WildStar that I'm not too crazy about, I think. Now, hear me out. I think the world and the zones get generic. They really do. You have your snowy ice level. You have your desert. Look, big scorpions. Desert zones. And I mean, really, while playing WildStar, there were 2 zones, well, I guess 3, that really, really stuck out in my mind. One was towards the end. There was this part in a zone where it was just all this really tall golden grass, and there were these really, really awesome, like, giant crystal pillars that came out of the ground. It resembled kind of, sort of like a Voss from the Old Republic, but different. And I was like, wow, that I've never seen a place like this before, like, give or take. It looks unique. It looks really cool. Wow, good job on whoever designed this. I don't know. And there was like the whole Blighthaven thing with the purple kind of, sludge parasite stuff everywhere and the big tentacles and all that stuff. Okay, yeah, it looks different. It has a look and a feel and a vibe all its own. And Farside also, where you're like on a moon. And it's cool because at around the time you go to Farside, you get your hoverboard. So you're, doing gnarly, Tony Hawk tricks and stuff, and you're just like floating, you're sailing through the air because the gravity is lower. That was really a good use of, you get your hoverboard just at the time you go to this zone where gravity is light, so you can do some crazy jumps on your hoverboard, and look how cool that is. Awesome. I thought that Farside looked really different. It was something I hadn't really seen ever in an MMO that I can remember anyway. Good. But too much of the in-between levels were like, oh, look, I'm in a jungle now. Oh, look, I'm in the snowy place. Oh, look, I'm in the deserty place. Hoth, Tatooine, I don't know. I especially from this game, I would have liked more zones that have a distinct and unique feel. Another thing I don't like about WildStar, and I know I'm rattling off the things I don't like, and don't get confused. I like WildStar. I do. I could see myself hopping back to WildStar every now and again. It just so happens that things that I like, I really, really like, but there's a ton of little nagging things, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to go on about the little things because there are more of them, but the stuff I like about WildStar, I can't say enough of. So we'll get positive, I swear. I swear, this isn't a WildStar bash fest. That's not the intention of this video. So, I completely forgot what I was going to talk about. Bye. Nah, I'm just kidding. Here's the thing about World of Warcraft that I like. I know. Oh, he said the hatred word, World of Warcraft, kill him, hang him upside down, and skin him like a predator. World of Warcraft did a tremendous amount of shit right. Even going back to pre-Burning Crusade, pre-first expansion, I played World of Warcraft, and I felt like I was in a world. And the world seemed huge, and the world seemed big, and if I wanted to swim around, I could. If I wanted to go drown someplace, I had the option. And I took it a lot. Glug, glug, glug. In WildStar, I was utterly shocked at the lack of freedom in the world, right? If you swim, it's in like a knee-deep pool of stuff. There's really no underwater stuff at all. Really, some quests here or there, you'll need to swim around in very shallow water and find stuff. But it feels so restrictive. It feels like Old Republic, where you're just like, water, what's that? You can't go in water. No, fuck that. And it just takes you out of the whole MMO experience, which is you being in wrapped up in a world. And I think Warcraft nailed that perfectly. Say what you will about it. Warcraft has a lot of problems, but I'm not going to go into them now. That's for mid-November when the Warlords of Draenor expansion comes out, and I talk about that. But I was really surprised because I had heard that a lot of the developers in WildStar were people who had developed Warcraft initially. And one of the big, huge things in Warcraft that I absolutely love, you felt like you're in the middle of this big, gigantic world. And WildStar, you don't. You want to go to this zone or that. You know, you want to go to Far Side. You go, you talk to a guy, screen goes blank, loading screen for a little while, and then poof, you're in Far Side. The game is chopped up that way, and the world just does not seem very big to me. And I think that the lack of stuff to do in and around water, where it's almost like, you don't need to go in the water. Dave, don't worry about it. You don't need to go in the water. There's nothing there. There's nothing there in the water. Don't worry about it. Well, why not, man? It just sucks me out of the world, and that was disappointing. It really was disappointing. Nexus itself, the world, just kind of disappointed me. With a lot of zones that you've seen before. The ice zone, the desert zone, the this zone, the that zone, the forest zone, you know. And don't get me wrong, there's some really, really great visuals in WildStar. There's some really, really cool moments, but I find they all happened relatively early on. For example, here's a really great one. There's one part where you're running around doing your lower level stuff, and when you clear this hill, you see in the distance an enormous fucking robot. And he's stuck. They're like these two doors that are stuck on its leg, and it's trying to pull itself out, and this thing is fucking huge. And the first time I saw it, forever will that be etched in my brains, because that part was awesome. Just seeing that in a game immediately stuck out in my head. It was something I'll never ever forget. It was just incredible. It was so great. And occasionally the robot will, like, you know, get mad and shoot laser beams out of its eyes around, and you can get hit and take damage. I don't think it can kill you, but you know, you can take damage from it. And I thought that was really, really awesome. But you know what? That's it. That's the only, like, I can't think of anything else from a zone that really was like, wow, that was incredible. You know, there's some cool zones. Like I said, Farside is cool. Blighthaven has some cool stuff, even though it's so annoying to go through Blighthaven. It really is. Yeah, I think they just could have done more in that regard to make the world a better place, we'll say. And you know, I don't know. It seemed to me very, very restrictive. And it shouldn't. That is a killer for me with MMOs. If I feel restricted in this world and it's sliced up into all these little, you know, go talk to him and he'll send you here. And I know you'll say, well, Dave, in Warcraft, you go to the Dark Portal to go to Outland, you go to see a boat guy to go to, you know, Northrend. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about, take any continent in Warcraft, a starting zone, and you just feel like you're in this big-ass fucking world. And in WildStar, I'm missing that. I'm really, really missing that a lot in WildStar. Once you get off the tutorial place, which is the same for everybody. If you're in Exile, the tutorial is the same. If you're on the Dominion side, I mean, both sides have their own tutorial places. But, you know, no matter what race you play, it's the same tutorial. Again, comparing it to Warcraft. You play a troll, you start in the troll area. You play an orc, you start in the orc area. You play a human, you play in the human area. It makes it feel like a bigger world because you have different starting zones. The experience is different depending on your choices, is what I'm trying to say. This isn't a love letter to Warcraft. It's just the example I'm using as a game that did it right. At least in my opinion. In WildStar, there's not really a lot of that. You get to pick one of two kind of start. Once you finish the tutorial zone, you get to pick one of two places to go to. And besides that, your leveling path is the same. You're going to go to the same places. If you make 8 characters, you're just going to go whoop, same order. And in World of Warcraft, it was awesome being able to say, well, there are numerous level 20 zones. If I'm really sick of one place, I can travel to another place and go from 20 to 25 or 20 to 30 or whatever in a different place, different quests, different atmosphere, different mood, different stuff. Why not? Why don't we have that already? World of Warcraft came out years ago. You would think that every game, by now, people would say, okay, we have a standard that every game has to have, where you need this, this, and this. And we're just not there. It's confusing to me. It really is. Because playing multiple characters in WildStar, which you're going to do, you're going to make alts and stuff, it's a little bit fucking boring because you're going through the same stuff. Flat out, I did not like the leveling experience in WildStar. I didn't. I just didn't have fun. After a certain point, it was like a chore to level. The interface is all fucked up. And, well, okay, I take that back. The interface had a lot of problems early on, where your quests would get all jumbled and mashed together, and people would say, oh, well, just reload your UI. I shouldn't have to. The game should just work. How about that? That's one of the things I cannot stand. It's like, well, hey, guess what? I turned on my car, and it started raining tarantulas. Well, you know, all you gotta do, before you start your car, bathe your keys in holy water, spin around 3 times, flip the car over, roll it over 3 or 4 times, start it, and the tarantulas won't be there anymore. How about the tarantulas don't show up to begin with? How about the car just works? How about the game just works, right? And stuff like that drives me nuts. This is both good and bad in my opinion. WildStar is so add-on friendly, right? The game was built to be fucked with by people who do add-ons and stuff. There's an add-on for everything in WildStar. From the auction house, which is a mess. It is a mess. Trying to sell stuff is a mess. Because you can't just say, okay, I want to sell this for 5 gold. Click on the little gold thing. 5 gold. 55 silver. Click on the little silver. 55. Click on the little copper. 55. Enter. Oh, that was easy and refreshing. No. You have to type, like, if you want to sell something for 9 gold or something, you have to go 9 0 0 0 0 0 because of the way the fucking thing is. It is the most eyeball rolling. How fucking dare you make selling shit such a hassle? Why is it so hard to put in it's so stupid how it's a mess. It is an absolute mess the way they have their auction house shit set up. And then people will say, well, all you got to do is put in an add-on. Somebody made an add-on where it makes sense. How about the game does it right the first time? So many people are like, oh, just get this add-on, it fixes this. Get an add-on, it fixes this. Get an add-on, it fixes this. How about they fix their game? It's like they put out a game that has all these problems, and they're like, well, we're making it add-on friendly. Somebody will fix it. And then maybe we'll steal their idea and use it ourselves. Who knows? This is little shit that makes no sense to me. Another thing, okay? And this is at the same time great and at the same time incredibly terrible. One of my huge complaints with these types of games in general is I staunchly believe you should look how you want to look. You should, if you're spending hours and hours and hours playing this game, you should at least be able to look how you want to look, right? You see a cool looking axe or a sword or whatnot, you should be able to use it for as long as you need. Or just take the appearance of it and keep the stats of whatever you're currently using. WildStar does this with their kind of costume, the way they handle costumes, which is great. Which is I love being able to pick and choose how my character looks. As you level, you get different costume slots, and you can switch between them whenever you want. It's free to do so. It's free to set up however many outfits you want. They have dyes that you can get. You can dye anything in the game pretty much. As far as gear goes, have your own color schemes, mix and match whatever you like. That's great. Dyeing costs a little bit of money though. It can actually get kind of expensive depending on what color you want to use, but whatever. Awesome. But there are problems. Problem numero uno. Why can't you preview more than one item on your character at once? Why can't you, in WildStar, you can only preview the look of one item at a time. You got a cool pair of gloves? Hey, let me see how that looks on my guy. Cool. I wonder how that works with these pants. Oh, for some reason I can't do it. Oh, I can't do it. It's one or the other. Sorry. Why? Why? And don't say there's an add-on for that because I will strike you. Yeah, you. Why? And oh, you want to browse for a new outfit? You want to go on the auction house and browse for new tough. You can't. You can't if you if you go to a vendor who sells heavy armor, you could browse and say, I want to see how this looks. Only one piece at a time, though. Only one piece at a time. But if you're on the auction house, you know, where you get your gear, you can't see how shit looks. You want to drop 3 platinum and how somebody looks? Well, how something looks? Well, you better Google it, or you better just want to roll them dice and hope it looks good. Because you can't preview from the auction house. Why? Why not? Why? In a game that says, look however you want, you would think the first fucking thing they would do is let you preview from the auction house. You know, where people buy gear. Oh my god, mind blown, right? What is the problem? Why? Why is this not in the game? And I hope they add it. I hope that in time, people will comment on this and say, you fucking dummy, they added that in the game. Well, good, I'm glad they did, but at the time of this recording, they didn't. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. If your game is about, we're going to let you customize how you look. You like a piece of gear, you want to use it forever? Way to go, brah. You can do that. Here you go. Then please let me browse. Can I window shop? No. Just one item at a time from a vendor, or not at all from an auction house? Why? Why? Simple question. Why? Why is that not in there? Why did not one person in this company that has made numerous games before say, that's stupid? Why? The map in WildStar is a fucking mess. It's an atrocious mess of hexes and symbols mashed together, and I don't know what the fuck. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. It is so inconvenient. It dominates the entire screen. You can fade it out, but you have to click a button to do so. So you press M, boom, the map takes up your entire screen. Then you got to click the little ghost button thing to make it fade out so you could see your character. Again, why? 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 If you're going to do the giant map thing and you're going to make it fade out, the Old Republic did it perfectly. Look, I'm not really for, I think you should be able to have, you know, customize the size of your map, which you can't do in WildStar because, but the Old Republic, at least, if you're going to do something wrong, at least do it right, I guess. Where the map takes up the whole screen, but when you run, when you move, it fades. And then when you stop moving, it unfades. WildStar, no, you got to press a button to do that. It's obnoxious. It's obnoxious. But there's an add-on for that, right? As far as PvP goes, man, I got no idea what to tell you. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a PvP guy. I've never done it before. I would just get immediately smashed in the bald head if I even tried to do any PvP stuff. That's just not my game, so I don't know what to tell you. If you're waiting for that part in the review, I probably should have started that earlier. We're like 40 minutes into this or something. If you're a PvP guy. Sorry if you're waiting for like a big PvP breakdown. I don't know. But I can guess. Here's my guess. X-Class is so OP! Nerf them! That's my review of PvP in pretty much any game ever in the history of the universe that will ever happen ever. So there you go. I want to talk about, this review seems negative, and I'm sorry, I don't want this to seem negative, because WildStar brings a lot to the table. It really, really super does. I should have planned this out a little bit better. But one thing I absolutely love, and I have zero complaints about, the housing in WildStar, out of control. The Old Republic just put in player housing, and after being involved in WildStar for some months, going to Old Republic to check out the housing system is a fucking joke. it's a laughable Doogie Howser joke. WildStar housing is unreal. Unreal. Before I even played the game, I had heard and read and seen on videos and stuff that the housing in WildStar was absolutely insane. It surpassed my wildest expectations on how crazy and how good and how awesome it would be. I literally am too dumb to know words to express to the audience of one person that may or may not be my mother how awesome the housing in WildStar is. It is awesome. It is unbelievable. I would recommend WildStar to just about anyone solely for the fact of player housing. Player housing is unreal. From being able to scale each and everything you put in your house, to be able to place it where you want. If you want to have an upside down room where chairs are on the ceiling and tables are on the ceiling and they're this big, you may do so with WildStar housing. It is unbelievable. You just can't preview anything you buy from the auction house because, why not, right? Why would you want to be able to see a decoration you're about to drop 4 platinum on? Why would you want to see what it looks like? Duh. I don't know. There's an add-on for it. Beyond just being a fantastic part in the game, the housing community in WildStar really should be commended because they are tremendous. They are awesome. They are great. When you go into your house at level, 14, I think? Yeah, 14 house, 15 mount. You go into the housing zone chat, right? It's like a different chat room, all for people that are in their own housing. And people are exchanging ideas. People are they're always willing to lend to help you. If you go in there and you're like, hey guys, I want to make a room that's I want to make a robot sex toy shop. Anybody got any ideas? Immediately people will come help you. I've never seen a more friendly aspect of a game before. And it's wonderful because it's not level based, it's not gear based, it's creativity based. And in WildStar, the housing, you can do whatever you fucking want. I have seen things in WildStar housing that are unbelievable because people will take the common items found in the game or that you can make, that there's a crafting profession that can make items, and they will just sit there and through manipulating objects and changing the size and putting stuff inside other stuff, they will make the most amazing stuff. I saw somebody that made a fucking piano, and it was incredible. It was a goddamn piano made out of basic, it's like Minecraft on crack. It's Minecraft is what it is, the housing in WildStar. Look, I can sit here and go on for 45 minutes alone on the housing and how great it is. But believe me, if you haven't seen the housing in WildStar, check it out. You should. You should check it out. I've never played a game that offered player housing before, so this was just entirely, completely new to me. And I think Anarchy Online, like way back in the day, you could have a little apartment. I don't know what you could do in it. I didn't really get far in that game. But surprisingly, like, player housing has not been a bigger part in games. Now it's kind of starting to pick up with Warcraft doing the strongholds, WildStar and, Old Republic doing their baby housing. Don't get me wrong, I like Old Republic, but it's just the housing is coming from WildStar to Old Republic housing is like it's a joke. It really is a joke. It's like a baby with a Texas Instruments calculator, like programming housing. It's just, ugh. But seriously, the housing in WildStar, unbelievable. They did a fantastic job. The community is awesome. There are always people, the way they set it up is you can invite people to become neighbors with you, and then they can come visit your house whenever you want, or you can invite people to be roommates, and then they can actually alter and move stuff in your house. And there's always people there willing to help, willing to come by your house and give you suggestions, give you ideas, or just say, hey man, nice shit, you did a good job of this. And the decorations and stuff that you can get them from quests, you can get them from rare spawns and stuff, or you could buy them or you could craft them. It is tremendous. So even if you have no interest in endgame stuff, even if you have no interest in dungeons or raiding or any of that crap, the housing alone in WildStar can keep you busy infinitely. Seriously though, I cannot say enough positive, good things about the housing in WildStar. Well done. They just did a bang up fucking job on this. They did an awesome job on this. And on a side note, I'd be a little peeved if I was into NC Softs like other games. Like Guild Wars 2 is good. I like Guild Wars 2. I haven't played it in forever, but I mean, if I was hardcore into Guild Wars 2, I'd be like, hey, where's our stuff? Come on, show a little love. I mean, coming from WildStar, like that's awesome, and they should have that in every game. But yeah, so anybody else who wants to do player housing in games, they really got to step up because WildStar is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I would recommend this game. If you hate everything else about WildStar, you will like the player housing. I promise you, you will like the player housing. It is awesome. It is incredible. And once you start seeing what other people do, you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. But anyway, I'm gushing. I'm officially gushing now. The gush is on. And there's a lot here to gush, let me tell you. It's a different day now. My WildStar review was so big, so intense, so utterly there that it took not one but 2 full days to cover all this crap because the pizza man came and he had like 9 pizzas, so it's the next day. It is but 24 hours later. Do I look fatter? Gained about 6-7 pounds since then, right? Sounds about right. I'm on track. I am on track. So, I just got done talking about the WildStar housing and how absolutely wonderful it is. Now I'm going to talk about another thing about this game that I really, really enjoy. We all know the MMO problem, right? No matter what game you play, no matter what game you fancy, no matter what you're into, you've had the MMO game problem. And here's what I mean by that. You get a game, and it is quite cool. You're into it, you're playing it, you're loving it. You get your guy to, I don't know, level 30 in a couple of days because you're so excited, right? You catch up with some friends and you say, hey, check it out. I'm playing this game. Isn't it awesome? Isn't it great? Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it fantabulous? And they say, yes, I would certainly like to try that. So they get the game. They start out at level 1. You are at level 1 times 30. There is a problem. You cannot play together. So here's what you end up doing. You end up making 9 new characters because some of your friends will start at different times and you want to show them stuff and you want to be there to help out and stuff. So and you can't play with them with your level 30 because, you know, what kind of sorcery do you expect? You know, it's only 2014. How come we can't solve this fucking problem by now? But WildStar does with something called mentoring. Now, if you have a max level character and you invite a friend to the game and they make a lowly level 1, you can mentor them and drop your effective level to level 1 so you could, oh my god, I don't know, play with your friends. What a novel concept that is, right? And I don't understand why the vast majority of these games, especially, you know, I've been talking a lot of good about Warcraft, but it's ridiculous that they don't have any kind of system like this. So you're going to be level 100, level 100, and at the end of Warlords of Draenor, and if, God forbid, one of your friends wants to check out this game and start from level 1, guess what? You're going to have to start over again because there's no way on earth you can use the character you like that you want to play with your friends. Why is there no level scaling system in World of Warcraft? Especially when you have a game with so many goddamn levels. Again, what is the issue? What is the problem? I just don't get it. The whole point of a massively multiplayer online game is to play with your buds, right? If you want to have fun playing by yourself, do what I do. Play with yourself. A lot. A whole lot. So WildStar with its mentoring really helps this problem a lot so that you can play your guy that you're comfortable with, that you're familiar with, that you like, that has all the cool stuff and all the money. But, you know, you can scale down to play with a friend, which is wonderful, which is beautiful, which is wonderful with the side of beautiful. And I lit this wrong, didn't I? There's this shadow here, and it bothers me a lot. Because you can't see my pecs, dude. My massive pecs. Oh, check them out. So I love the mentoring concept. It is wonderful. It's easy to do. It's simple and intuitive. Bravo. Fucking finally a game does this. I mean, there have been some. I think in Star Trek Online, you could kind of scale yourself down if you're in a group with somebody else. And Guild Wars takes it to kind of a whole nother level where no matter what zone in the world you go to, it automatically scales you down, whether you like it or not. At least last time I played it did. I don't know. Maybe they changed it. But that, I think that may be a little bit too extreme. Though it's convenient, you know, it is easy. And anytime a game allows you to play with your friends, even if there's a level disparity between you, cool. I mean, that's the point, right? That's why we're all here. That's why we're not all playing. I can't even think of a one player. Dig Dug. You guys know what Dig Dug is? No, nothing. Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think so at all. But another thing I really like about WildStar, since now we're doing the positive stuff. I know it may have seemed like I spent the last 8 hours trashing the game, but I didn't mean to. It's just some stuff bothers me. So now this is really good stuff. Now we're getting into so mentoring, fantastic, awesome. This again should be a staple in games because nobody likes making 6 different characters and logging in and out to play with different people at various levels. This is a problem that should have been solved in the first 3 years that MMOs existed, right? I mean, we've all gone through it. If you've played any of these games, you've probably done this a billion times and have a billion characters to show for it. So anyway, I love the idea of circles. Circles is fantastic. In WildStar, they have guilds, which is the little thing under your name there. And your guild is just like any other game. It offers you perks at certain levels, guild bank at certain levels, and stuff like that. You can create a really cool holographic kind of insignia and put, if you want it on one shoulder or two shoulders on your back or just on your back or not at all if you don't like your guild insignia. Very, very cool. Anything that lets you customize your character or your guild or your organization, anything that makes it feel unique to you, I am pretty much for in an MMO, and I love stuff like this. I really do. I think that the again, so hey, let's say another thing about World of Warcraft that's not positive. The guild emblem creation is a joke in Warcraft. It's the most like what are the things that cut the Windows like 96 at them or something, the little black and white pictures of like a dog, like look, it's a dog. The guild emblem design in Warcraft is a fucking mess, and it's 2014. Can we spruce this up a bit? I mean, I know that Warlords of Draenor is doing the whole, they're revamping the character models, awesome and long overdue, but I've talked about that at length elsewhere. But the guild emblem, it's kind of important. If you have a cool guild emblem that you like the look of, it's just gonna make you like the game that much more. It's gonna make you like your character more. And WildStar really has some cool stuff. You can do a little you can have a background image and a foreground image and kind of, pick between different things to make some really cool combinations. I've seen some guild emblems that look really, really legitimately nice. And I know it's a very small feature in the game. It's not game breaking or anything like that, that the guild emblems look bad in Warcraft or anything, but it's just a little something that makes the game that much cooler, that makes you feel like, hey, my guy's pretty neat. I got a neat little guild emblem. My guild has a cool tag, I guess. So I like stuff like that. I really think that's great. And I'm glad that they included that into the game. So earlier on, I was talking about the price of WildStar. It's not a free-to-play game, but it kind of is, and I'm going to tell you why. WildStar is a subscription-based game where you pay like $14.99 a month, just like pretty much any other game, to play WildStar. But, very important but there, they have this thing called cred. It stands for something. I don't know. I'm not going to look it up. Simply put, if you have cred, you can redeem it for 30 days of game time. And you can buy cred one of two ways, or well, two of two ways. You can do it either way. I should cut that part out. You can go on their website and buy one thingy of cred for $20. And with that cred, you can either redeem it for a month of game time, which you'd be silly to do because a month of game time only costs $15 and cred costs $20. So if you buy cred, what you want to do is sell it on the cred exchange for in-game gold. And when I first heard this, I thought, okay, cred is going to be incredibly expensive. Cred, I put it. Yeah, you got it. I bet. I thought cred's gonna be just out of control expensive. It's gonna be a nightmare. I'm never gonna ever see cred ever in the history of forever. That's what I thought. But the market dictates what cred costs. So let's say you buy a thing of cred for $20, and then it shows up in your game. In the game, you could say, all right, I want to sell this cred for, let's say, 50 platinum, which you certainly will not get as of this recording. Anybody who sells cred cheaper than you, the cheapest price is the one that they list. So if somebody else spent $20 and bought cred, and they want to sell theirs for in-game money, they can say, all right, well, this guy's selling his for 50. That's currently the lowest price. I'll sell mine for 49 platinum, 99 gold, 99 silver, 99 copper. And that will be the price that is listed. So people are constantly undercutting each other for cred, which keeps the price low. But the price really isn't bad at all. I mean, I have not paid for a month of WildStar yet, because I've just been buying cred. As we speak right now, I've paid. As I'm recording this, it is August 27th, right? I paid for my first couple of months with cred, and just by running dailies and salvaging what I get and selling what I get, and being a pure gatherer, by the way, that's a big deal because I'm sure crafting sucks up a lot of money that I am not interested in spending. If it comes between being a pretty good crafter and game time, I'm going to take game time pretty much all the time. And in MMOs, that's just kind of what I do. I gather stuff and I sell it. I think some crafting is really neat. Some games do it well, but it's not really my thing. I have no qualms about just running around, gathering stuff, and selling it for money. I prefer the money over the self-accomplishment of making a shitty piece of gear. So as I'm recording this right now, I have paid my subscription through September. So I will not be billed again until October 1st. I also have 5 cred stored. 5. And I am not a whiz at gaming the economy or gaining the auction house. I am not. I just gather my stuff, I do my dailies, and I call it a day, and I sell everything I find. And I have 5 cred stockpiled. That means $100 if you're buying it with real money, which don't buy it with real money. Don't. Whatever you do out there, do not buy cred with real money. So, and I haven't paid more than, I think, around 6 platinum on my server currently, which is a Vindra, I think. Starts with an E or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, so I find the cred price is incredibly reasonable, but maybe kind of too reasonable. I mean, you want to make money for your game, right? And if a schlub like me who's just logging in, doing dailies, getting my money from dailies, is able to save up a half a year of game time, you know, well, I've actually so far I've got like 8 months of game time, including the cred I've spent in the past for months. And I haven't spent a dime besides, you know, buying the game for the retail price and all that shit. So I love it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's really good, but it kind of worries me as far as the gaming model because WildStar is not free to play, but it kind of is if you want it to be. So I think that is just tremendous. I love that. I love the idea of paying for my subscription purely by playing the game. But there's kind of a problem with that, which I'm going to get into now. If WildStar did not have cred and I had to pay $15 a month to play WildStar, I probably wouldn't, because I find myself logging into WildStar to do my dailies, sell what I get, max out my Elder Gem cap for the week to make even more money, to stockpile cash to buy cred with. That cred, I'm not going to sell it because it's way too cheap now. I'm not going to sell it for 7 platinum or something. I eventually suspect that the price is going to just skyrocket because as more people get to 50, more people find out that money is really easy to come by if you want it to be. And people will start flooding the market with cred or demanding more for the cred, I should say, because they know that people can afford it. That's just what I think. And it kind of feels like I'm playing the game just to earn enough to buy more. It's like I'm cred collecting. I'll get on there and be like, I got to do my dailies because I need money. I got to save up money because I want to stockpile as much cred as humanly possible because soon it's going to blow up and they're going to charge a crap load for it, and I want to get as much of it as I can now while it's cheap. It's game time. I have to play to get more free game time. And that's not fun. And it's not the game's fault. It's my fault. It's purely me. But that's why I would not subscribe to the game, because I would find myself logging in just to get as much money as humanly possible to buy cred because I have mental problems. Maybe if I was a hardcore type game person and I was all into the really difficult dungeons and I was a serious raider with a serious guild and stuff who was all gung-ho, let's go in there and get him, my thoughts would very well probably change. But for a lot of reasons, if WildStar was simply subscription based and that's the only way you could play, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't continue my subscription. But being that you can play with money earned in game, sure, I will log into WildStar every now and again when I get the urge to. It is refreshing. I've played some other MMOs since then, when because like I said, I jump back and forth, and WildStar, it is fun. Combat is fun, and you are on your toes a lot, and you are running around a lot, and you're very active in WildStar as you're kind of running around doing stuff. And that's great, and it certainly stands out when you go back and try to play an MMO where it's tab target 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, So, WildStar brings a lot to the table, as I said, but I personally wouldn't pay monthly for it, but I don't have to. So, WildStar is something I will definitely dip into from time to time. As of now, I haven't really found a game that's like my game. That's like, oh, I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to play this for 5 or 6 years. I hop back and forth because I'll get in the moods. Like currently I was in the mood to play Old Republic, so I'm back playing Old Republic. And I'm going to do that until the Warcraft expansion comes out, and then I'll hop back on Warcraft, and it's just like a constant kind of what am I in the mood for type thing. So that's a lot of stuff about WildStar. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I may have forgotten. I wanted to hit my big points. I found that this kind of goes with my leveling thing that I was talking about, where I really... there's something with leveling that just seems unenjoyable to me, at least. I didn't really like the leveling process, how it went. I found that a lot of places and a lot of enemies, the scale seems off. Meaning that, let's say you're level 20, for just example, and you kill something that is your level, that is level 20, and you have a fight with it. And you might just, one thing that's level 20 you will easily handle or whatnot, and then another thing that is the exact same level you will barely survive. I don't know if this is just because I suck at this game. It very well may be, but I noticed this progressing through the game, where certain enemies are just easier than others. And I'm not talking about, elites and I know the difference between that. But just normal enemies, some I will just dismantle, and others will be way difficult playing the same way, running out of red circles and stuff. Obviously I'm not just standing there, but it did seem that the difficulty kind of hopped back and forth for a while, and I don't know, I didn't think that that was tremendously all that great, but worth noting. So getting back to money, When you first start playing WildStar, you'll probably be overwhelmed like I was. 10 gold for a mount, that's a lot of money when you're starting out the game. Once you hit 50, once you hit max level in WildStar, your view on money changes. I know that if you're just if you're just getting into WildStar and you heard me say like, oh well, 7 platinum for cred, that's nothing. You probably just flipped over your computer table because you're struggling to make silver, early on in the game. But when you hit 50 in WildStar and start doing your dailies and start capping out your Elder Gems and just selling whatever you can and salvaging whatever you can and selling it on the exchange and stuff like that, money, the value of money, you will just look at it in an entirely different way, because when you hit 50, here comes the cash. So I would definitely suggest, if you're struggling with money, just make it to max level. Run your dailies religiously every day. Max out your Elder Gems as soon as you possibly can, and you will just see it pour in. Salvage everything you get for the most part, and sell it and make money. For crafters, I'm sorry, I'm sure you probably have a bunch more expenses and stuff like that. But I just gather and I do well with money, and I'm not even a crafty, a shifty auction house player or anything like I'm sure some of you are out there. So you'll probably do a lot better than I do. And I think with being able to play for free, it's great. It's great. So WildStar, it brings a lot to the table, a big amounts. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. A lot of it, either way, is I guess player preference, because a lot of the problems I have with the game, I admittedly say, it's one of my things that just bothers me. But a lot of really interesting concepts. It's fun. It's a fun game. It looks beautiful. It looks tremendous. It's funny. It's lighthearted. You may or may not like the combat. I mean, some people may be all into your rotation and maximizing, whatever it is you do, and they might not like the whole kind of free kind of press a button and swing at something in front of you, and missing and hitting and running out of telegraphs. It might not be for you. Other games have certainly done this. It's nothing incredibly new. Mentoring is awesome. I like the guild emblems quite a bit. The housing is just spectacular. Cannot say enough. And there is a thing called circles in WildStar, which I meant to get into when I was talking about guilds, but I got sidetracked. Your guild is your guild, and you have your little guild name under your name, like in every other MMO known to man. They also have circles, which is kind of like mini guilds. So if you and 3 other friends like to get together and play every now and again, or if you and some people are really into player housing, or really into a certain kind of crafting, you can make what's called a circle, which is like a mini guild. And you can name it what you want, you can invite who you want, and you can display your circle name instead of your guild name. And you can switch back and forth whenever you want. I don't believe you can make emblems for your circles because, that's fine. But yeah, so you kind of can have little mini cliques, little mini guilds. So let's say you and some friends are all in different guilds, but you like to run dungeons every now and again. You can give yourself a cool name. You can call yourself, the Goonies, and have that under your name, so whenever you're adventuring together, you can all put in the same kind of tag and have your little circle. So it's almost like little guilds within guilds, which I think that is something that, it's such a small thing, but it adds so much, because it's another way of keeping in touch with people beyond guilds. So you can have multi-guild kind of relationships, multi-guild like friendships and units and circles. They have some housing circles, or some gathering circles, like mining circles and stuff like that. It's just really, really cool, and it encourages community. And why are we all here in MMOs for? Community, right? So yeah. So WildStar brings a lot to the table. Very, very cool things, and some things that I'm just not too keen on. I'm looking forward to where they take the game, and I'm totally blanking on how to end this. I could just stare. I mean, we've been here for like over an hour. What's another 5 minutes of me just staring at? I mean, I think because my camera's a piece of garbage and it only records in like 27-minute intervals, and we're up to like 24 or something on this section anyway. So I could probably just sit here and stare at you, or read the paper. What's going on in the world? You want to hear my thoughts on the war in wherever it is we're starting a war nowadays? This is CNN. Let me take a sip of your water.